I thought I will use the time to talk about priorities and what is the right way of prioritization and what's the wrong way. So, before I start, I just want to ask you this question. Have you ever asked yourself, what do you really want? I don't mean what your boss expects of you or what your family needs of you or what is the next milestone that requires your immediate attention. I'm talking about what you really want. The reason I'm asking is because most of the high achieving women that I work with, they have a hard time answering this question. It's because they spend years, maybe decades, putting everybody else's needs ahead of their own, trying to cater to please everyone else, to be responsible for everybody else's well-being, and they forget their own. So the problem that I see constantly, that women have a jam-packed schedule, a long to-do list, and then you keep working at it and you chipping at it, but then the list keeps getting longer. Start asking yourself, maybe I should be a little bit more organized. Maybe I should have more discipline. Maybe I should just wake up earlier and get these things out of the way first before everybody else wakes up. The problem is not time management. The real problem is that your schedule is full of tasks that are actually not aligned with what you hold high as a value. It's not the volume of work, it's the misalignment between what fills your day and what your soul wants to do. So, before I tell you how priorities work, let me tell you what priorities are not. So, what a priority is not, it's not based on what you should and you shouldn't do. That's not a priority. It's not driven by fear. Fear of failing, fear of people's judgment, fear of being left behind. Anything that is driven by fear is not a priority, not a true priority. And it's definitely not that you compensate for what other people are not doing, so you pick up the slack. That is not a priority. Those are all traps. A true priority is timeless, and it is rooted in a value that you as a human being hold high. That a priority is a value that you as a human being hold high. So it supports your well-being and your growth. Because if it's a high value to you as a human being, it's kind of like a calling. It keeps beckoning to you. So when that calling, you feel it, it's your pathway to growth. And it also opens the path for you to experience something. Because that's the experience that leads you to growth. So a priority is rooted in a high value, and it is an opportunity for growth, and it is an experience. And the last thing I want to tell you about a priority is not a rigid thing. As soon as you put rigidity, you close the door of opportunity. So priorities should be flexible enough to be pursued and implemented in many different ways, because you are seeking an experience. You are seeking growth. You are seeking a high value. Let me give you an example. So you, as a high achieving woman, you want a promotion because I've earned it. I've been so many years in service and I earned it. Do you feel that's a priority? It sounds like one, but it is self-justified sense of entitlement masked as a priority. That's a trap. That is not the high value that we're looking for. Or maybe she will say, well, someone less qualified than I am got promoted last year, and I deserve it better. Again, if you examine that, it's a sense of unfairness that she is communicating. That is not a high value. That's a trap. Or maybe she will say, well, I don't want them to think that I lack ambition. Again, that's fear of people's judgment. That's a trap. That's not a high value. So what do? I dig deeper and I go, but tell me more. See what's inside of you that is pulling you towards that promotion. And then she goes, well, I want to be recognized for the leader that I am, not just a person who just gets things done. Well, there, we're making a little bit of progress. That is a sense of justice. A sense of justice to establish in the workplace is a goal. We're making progress, but that's still not the high value that we're seeking. And I go, okay, so why being recognized as a leader is important to you? And she goes, because I want to be a decision maker and I want to be visible. Great. Decision making and visibility are both goals. Then I go, okay, why visibility and decision making is important to you in the workplace? And she will go, because I want to influence positive change in the workplace. I want to create equality in the workplace. And there you have it. That's the value that she's seeking. Creation of equality, influencing positive change. That's her value. She wants to be an influencer and a creator. She believes that when she is influencing and creating change in the workplace, then the workplace will be a better place because she is in it. That is your conviction. That is your high value. And that is where your priorities should start. Prioritization is not about time management skill. It is about clarity about what you hold high. What is your purpose in this role that you're playing, in this environment that you are in? If it's work, or if it's a family, or it is friends, you are there for a reason. What is that calling? What is that purpose? What is that high value that you want to instill in the environment that you are in? That is an identity. When you know yourself, you know your high values, then everything from there will flow naturally into your behavior, into your actions, into your decisions. So that's the commitment I want you to make today to yourself is find what the high value that you believe in, and then create your priorities from that point.